For the last 20 years, every financial advisor, every personal finance influencer, and every Reddit thread has told you the same thing. Just buy index funds. Don't think, don't question it. Just put your money in and go touch grass. And for the most part, that advice made sense. But here's the thing nobody's telling you. The very product that was designed to protect the average investor from Wall Street has quietly been turned into one of the most powerful tools Wall Street has ever created. And the most dangerous part? You're in it, and you have absolutely no idea. Now, before you close this video, I want to be clear. I'm not here to tell you index funds are going to zero. I'm not telling you to panic sell your 401k at 6 in the morning. What I am telling you is that the index fund you think you own is not the same product that was invented in 1976. Because somewhere between Jack Bogle's original idea and today, the entire structure got hijacked. And the way it got hijacked is hiding in plain sight, inside the mechanics of how these funds actually work. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So let's go back to where this started. Because in 1976, a man named Jack Bogle did something genuinely revolutionary. He looked at the data and realized that over long time horizons, almost no actively managed fund consistently beat the market after fees. So instead of trying to beat the market, why not just own the whole market at basically zero cost? That was the index fund. Simple, elegant, genuinely good for the average investor. You put money in, you own a tiny slice of every company in the S&P 500, the market goes up over time, you win. And for decades, this worked exactly as designed. But then something changed, because Bogle's original idea attracted more money than anyone ever imagined. And when trillions of dollars start flowing into a single structure, Wall Street doesn't ignore it. It studies it, and then it figures out how to profit from it. Because here's what most people don't understand about how index funds actually work today. An S&P 500 index fund doesn't own 500 equally weighted companies. It's market cap weighted, which means the bigger a company gets, the more of your money automatically flows into it. So right now, the top 10 companies in the S&P 500 make up over 35% of the entire index, which means when you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you're not buying 500 companies. You're mostly buying Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, and a handful of others, with 490 companies getting the scraps. And here's where it gets interesting, because the three largest asset managers in the world, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, now collectively manage over $20 trillion, mostly in index funds. And together, they are the largest shareholder in nearly every major company in America. Not the second largest, not a significant holder, the single largest shareholder in roughly 90% of S&P 500 companies. Now think about what that actually means. Three companies sitting in offices in New York and Pennsylvania now effectively own corporate America. And they got there because you were told to just buy index funds and stop thinking about it. But it gets worse, because this concentration creates a mechanical feedback loop that most investors never consider. When you put $1,000 into an S&P 500 index fund, the fund automatically buys more of the biggest companies, which makes those companies bigger, which means they become an even larger percentage of the index, which means the next dollar that flows in buys even more of them. It's a self-reinforcing loop, and it means the largest companies in America are no longer being priced based on their fundamentals. They're being priced based on capital flows. Blind money that doesn't read earnings reports, doesn't care about valuation, just buys on autopilot. And this matters for three reasons that affect your money directly. First, volatility. Because when markets sell off, index fund investors don't analyze which stocks to sell. They just sell the index, which means every company gets hit at the same time, regardless of how good or bad their business is. The strongest companies fall with the weakest ones because they're all trapped in the same vehicle. And when trillions move in the same direction simultaneously, that's not investing, that's a synchronized crash machine. Second, corporate governance. Because when BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are the largest shareholder in basically every company in America, who is actually holding management accountable? Index funds don't sell bad companies. They can't. They're forced to hold them, which means the disciplinary mechanism that stock markets were designed for, the threat of investors selling if management destroys value, has been quietly broken. And third, the valuation problem. Because if the price of the largest companies in America is being driven by passive flows rather than analysis, then the price no longer reflects reality. It reflects momentum. And momentum works perfectly right up until the moment it doesn't. And when it stops, the fall isn't gradual, it's a cliff. And here's why you've never heard this framed this way. Because the financial media's entire business model is built on telling you to keep investing, keep contributing, don't touch it, set it and forget it. Because scared investors stop investing, and when investors stop investing, the whole machine slows down. So instead, you get a simple story. Index funds good, active management bad. Just buy and hold. Which is not entirely wrong, but it's also not the complete picture. Because Jack Bogle himself, the man who invented index funds, spent his last years of his life warning that index fund concentration had become a threat to the markets he was trying to protect. The inventor was warning us, and we weren't listening. So what does this actually mean for you? It doesn't mean you should panic. It doesn't mean index funds are worthless. It means you need to understand what you actually own, because the product being sold to you today is not what Jack Bogle built in 1976. The spirit of the idea is still there, but the scale has transformed it into something with consequences nobody fully understands yet. And the financial media won't tell you this because it doesn't make for a clean headline. There's no villain to point at. There's no single bad actor. It's just a system that got so big it started bending under its own weight. And the people quietly inside that system are you and me. And that's why I made this channel, because the real risks in markets are never the loud ones. Those are already priced in. The real risks are the quiet ones, the ones hiding inside the products you were told were safe. So if you want to know what's actually happening underneath the surface of the financial system, hit subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of thing traditional financial media won't touch. And the more you understand it, the harder it is to be blindsided by it.